What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Amateur Round 2. This is Ryan, your host. We're out at Shawnee Park in Plano, Texas today. I'm putting this up on YouTube fairly late compared to the other ones. We played this round back in March. This is the second iteration of this tour that I've put together with me and my buddies. Instead of a tag match, we're just going out. We play stroke play against one another. We're going to see who's got the most points at the end of the season based on where we place through each one of these rounds. Just as if it was a normal season. So I appreciate y'all checking it out and tuning in and tagging along for the ride today. So we're going to start here on hole 1, a 490-foot par 4. Jacob is the first up because he won the first round, if y'all haven't checked that out yet. I've got a playlist already set up here. So he throws his new kind of nice big Anheuser, gets stable, gets down there in the fairway. You see all this stuff in the background. There was actually a group of people that were celebrating basically what is Jewish Halloween. So we had to ask them to get out of the fairway. I don't think they realized.
We got a blowout on hole 1, so.
As Jared blows out of the side of his shoe on the very first throw of the day. But yeah, I don't think these people or this church realized that they were on a disc golf course and were just in the way. Jared threw his scorch out there real nice. I get up there next, third off the tee. Hit the one tree in the fairway, but I stayed in bounds. We're playing everything left of the cart path is out of bounds. So it plays nicely to Kathan here. I think he throws the Z-Raptor. Gets it up and over the trees, but gets on a lot of hyzer and is over there on the right side of the fairway. Kalen with his ESP Hades. Throws it nicely, flips it up, just kind of grip locked it a little bit. All the way over on the fairway of hole 15. Corbin with a nice little flip and turn with his jet there. And then finishing off the first tee. Rhett going with a nice big flex backhand with his longhorn. So I'm going to be first up. I flick my zone. Get it down there to a pretty good spot. We only had one camera today. My other camera guy was a little busy, and so we weren't able to get him out there. And Matt was having some trouble with his camera, so some of these shots might be a little weirdly in focus, kind of, trying to track it like he found the wrong basket there. But Kalen and Kathan both had two pretty good shots. Rhett with a nice backhand mid-approach shot. Corbin hitting the one tree that was in the way that he couldn't hit. Jacob with a nice little flick forehand with his culprit. And then Jared just kind of grip locks the forehand with his zone there. Kalen with the first actual putt out of all of us and just hits high right side of chains, which would have been an awesome birdie after being out of position off the tee. Jared with a little floaty run. Kathan just misses his left. Then everybody taps or is tapping in, finishing out the hole. I knocked down the birdie. Jacob missed his high left. Rhett knocks down the birdie. Jared knocks down his par. Corbin cleans up his. And everybody else just taps out. So Rhett and I grabbed the only birdies there on hole 1. Everybody else made par. And we're moving on to hole number 2. So here we are, hole number 2, 395. I throw my heat, end up just kind of putting on a lot of hyzer, and it just stayed out to the left. Rhett in the early release with his longhorn, same thing. The only OB on this hole that we're playing today is the road that is behind where Jacob's disc just landed over there, and then there's the cart path over here to the right, and anything on or over the cart path to the right is out of bounds. So Jacob threw his nuke, Jared threw his strike, little nose up. It's a long par 3 at 395, of course. The wind wasn't too terribly bad this day. Cathan with a pretty nice backhand there. And Kalen ripped his shot, but just missed his line he was trying to go on. Corbin with a nice backhand right out there in the middle of the fairway. So Kalen gets that turned over just a little bit too much, out of bounds. Rhett, the grip lock on his approach shot, he also goes out of bounds. Jacob throws a really nice forehand and just curls right up into a drop in for par. Jared also elects forehand. I decided to throw my glitch. Little nose up, little floaty, give it a bid. I would throw it out a little bit further to the right than I wanted. And Corbin throws a shot with his putter that luckily grabs that grass and stays in bounds. Rhett and Kalen both with their approach shots. I think we had missed Cathan's approach shot there, so that was par for him. Jared's putt just barely catches right side chains and stays in. Corbin gets one a little soft and wobbly out of the hand, but stays close. Rhett knocks down his bogey. Kalen in for the bogey. I knock down my par. Jacob for par. And Corbin knocks down his bogey. And so I take the lead after hole number 2. So I have the basket here. On this one, we're playing it as a double island. So you can see the cart path right there. I land short of it and never cross inbounds, so we advance to a drop zone. Jacob throws a nice little turnover putter shot to the first fairway. Jared throws his shot a little flat, but it holds up just nicely, just enough because that road plays out of bounds again. Cathan with his Buzz OS.
Oh, golly.
Throws it out there nicely. Corbin with his reactor. Catches a tree on the right side and never crosses inbounds. Rhett elects to go glitch like I did and just gets it flipped up and turned over and never crosses inbounds. And then Kalen just gets an unlucky roll. Gets out of bounds. So me, Rhett, and Corbin advance to the drop zone. So you can see that there's that sidewalk that cuts through it, through the fairway up there basically, so we're playing it as a double island. Corbin gets way too much on his, and it doesn't catch the grass this time and skips out of bounds. Kalen with a nice approach shot. Jacob with the jump putt, gives it a good run. Jared for his birdie attempt, knocks it down. Kathan gets that put on a lot of hyzer, but it stays close. Corbin knocks down his bogey or double bogey. Rhett just misses right side of the basket. Kalen knocks down his bogey. Rhett gets unlucky again, tries to overcorrect and gets to the other side. I take my bogey. Jacob in for par. So now after 3, we've got a, was that 4-way tie for first and then a 3-way tie for 5th. Going into hole number 4. I think that's a Raider that Jacob throws. And just kind of catches that last tree, knocks it down, but stays in bounds. Jared hits an early tree, but stays in bounds. Because that cart path is playing OB, and then the parking lot over here to the left is playing OB. Kathan right up the middle, catches a tree on the other side, but is fine. We're not playing with double fairway, so that cart path up there in the middle is just casual. Throw my lobster, just get something out there. It's a long circle 2 bid from there, but I just didn't want to hit anything. Kalen also goes with the low fairway. I think that's his crave. Gets it through the gap. And Corbin just barely gets an early release, but then finds that out of bounds parking lot. Rhett throws his Z Heat and gets it out there to a nice spot where he has a chance for a jump putt. Jared going with the big hyzer to circle 2. Corbin almost rings up his par from way out. I think that was Jacob's shot that comes through the trees. Kathan with his Buzz OS parks it nicely. Kalen going with his Brian Earhart zone. I go with that glitch again, just trying to get it close. Left a little bit more than I wanted to, but was fine with it. Jared with a jump putt bid for par. Rhett for his par. Kathan taps in his. Jacob comes up short with his par putt. Par for Kalen. Corbin's bogey bid comes up short. Rhett taps in his par there. Jared for his par. Myself for my par. And Jacob for his bogey. So through 3, Kathan and I are tied up at first at even. Jacob and Jared at 1 over. Kalen and Rhett at 3 over. Corbin in last at 5 over. Through 4 holes. I need to correct myself there. Hole 5, another little par 3. Road plays OB, so as soon as that was out of the hand, Kathan knew he didn't like it. Going with my Athena. Don't get it quite as wide as I would have liked. Skipped, and it looked like it gave the basket a little bit of a scare. But I'll have an edge of circle putt for birdie. Kalen going with something fast there and gets it out to the edge of circle 2. Rhett throws his heat. Brings all the wives and girlfriends and fiancés and moms into play. Way more than we thought, but stayed in bounds. Jerry going with a force. Puts it right behind that tree, but inside circle.
Oh, set.
Jacob following Rhett's line, but getting closer to basket height. Corbin going with his Buzz SS. Gets it to flip nicely. Coast Wind kind of toys with it, but it gets down edge of circle. Rhett turns that forehand over. Gives a little bit too much and gets into the road. Cathan with his par approach. Jacob with a jump putt. Misses a little bit right of where he wanted to, probably. As you can tell by our putting, there's a reason why this is called the Amateur. Jared knocks down the really nice birdie putt there. I throw what felt like a really, really nice putt, but get top band and have to settle for the par. Kalen knocks down his par, not without scaring the top of the cage, though. Rhett knocks down his bogey. Jacob does the same. And Cathan does the same. And that high left is just never really going to be able to do much. Through 5, Jared and I are still tied. Cathan at 1 over, Jacob and Kalen at 2 over, Rhett at 5 over, and Corbin at 6 over. So this one's 445 feet. Played it as a par 4. Jared gets his strike up there into the sky. Skips OB. I go with my Lone Star Bravo curl. Let it flip up a little bit into a headwind there. Kalen going with his Hades again. Just releases a little late, but gets through that tree and gets into a good spot. I'm not sure what that was that Cathan threw, but got it on a little bit too much angle where it caught a roll and it just kept going away from the basket but stayed in bounds. Jacob going with a big flex backhand. Gets it a little nose up but keeps it in play. Corbin had a shot with plenty of power but hits the first available. Rhett goes with the flex backhand. Gets it way out there in the fairway. I think Corbin's approach shot advanced forward enough, but did go out of bounds. And so he's going to be throwing for par from the middle of the fairway. Or halfway up the fairway, I should say. Kathan with a good approach. Rhett's approach. Just threw it out a little bit too far right. I think Corbin went putter there and just turned it over. Jared went with a little bit stall of a backhand and got it inside circle, I believe. And Kalen let his go a little earlier than I think he wanted to and gets into that circle 2 area. Same with Jacob, just a little nose up a little early and have a long putt for birdie. Corbin had a good approach shot there. This is for my eagle. I was halfway making a bid on that. I was really just trying to make sure I got a birdie. Kalen's birdie bid comes up a little short. Rhett's birdie bid comes up a little short. Kathan's birdie bid comes up a little bit short, but they should all be walking away with pars. Jacob just gets off the front of the cage. Jared knocks down his par. I think we played the sidewalk as out of bounds, so Corbin took another big number there. So now there's a little bit of separation. Myself in first, Jared second, Kathan, Jacob, Kalen, Rhett, Corbin. Hole 7, 262-foot par 3. I go with my armadillo. Get it flipped up a little bit too much. It's going to be to the left of where the basket's to the left of where my shot landed. It's not that difficult. It plays downhill, so it plays shorter than 260. You do have these 2 guardian trees that are right there in front. Jared with a beautiful shot puts him inside 15 feet. Kalen also throws a beautiful shot, gets to the gap, should have an unobstructed putt there for birdie. Kathan trying to take out Matt, our camera guy. His ended up landing in the bushes. We didn't get to see the end of that because Matt had to fear for his life there for a little bit. Jacob gets over there to the right side by me, just turned over his mid-range a little bit too much. Rhett following us as well. Throws his glitch, just turns it over. Corbin goes with a forehand putter shot, and it just ends up turning into a roller and goes towards the wrong basket there.
Oh, hello.
And then he tries to go with a spike hyzer and goes away from the basket. Rhett throws his shot around it, catches those trees, so he's going to have a long look at par. Kathan with his zone puts it to about 15 feet. Jacob's got a little window right here through these trees. And just gets caught up in the junk. I've got a window. And put it to a spot where I should be able to save the par. Jacob from the woods doesn't get out again.
You're good, Jacob.
Rhett just lays up to take the bogey. Kalen misses that putt just a little bit to the right. Jacob knocks his down. I tapped mine in. Kathan saves his par. Kalen saves his par, and then Jared taps in his birdie. You can kind of see it blurry in the background right there. He's in the green sweater. So that moves me and Jared into a tie, and everybody else stays in the same position that they were in. So hole 8, 284, par 3. Jared throws his a little low, skips it up off the path, and ends up in circle 2. I like to go with the backhand, and I forget what it was I threw there. I think I threw my glitch and just turned it over a little bit. Ended up over there next to number 9's tee-pad. Kalen going with the forehand. The only thing we really have to worry about on this one is there's a creek that plays a little bit downhill, but probably you got to get about 60, maybe 70 feet long of the basket to be down in the creek. Other than that, everything else is pretty safe. We're all ending up over here on the right side of the basket, basically, which is the side you do want to be on. If you're over there on the left, there's some trees and some bushes that you can kind of get caught up in and have an obstructed putt. Rhett throws a really nice shot, I think, with his hex. Gets a friendly little roll off the tree there. Corbin throws his Mako. And he ends up over there on the left side of the basket. But he's in a good spot. He's still short of it. Jacob throws his reactor. Basically ends up in the same spot that Corbin is. So Jared's got a long bid. Goes with a jump putt. Annie gives it a pretty good run. I decided to step putt mine from circle 2. Land low of the basket. That never really had a chance. Kalen with a circle 2 bid. Comes up short. Kathan, circle 2 bid as well. His probably had the best chance out of all of ours there. Just a little bit left of the basket. Jacob had the line, just didn't quite have the speed. Rhett with the CTP had the best chance for birdie there and just misses left or right side of the basket. Caitlin's in for 3. I'm in for 3. Kathan in for 3. Rhett knocks down his 3. Corbin misses his 3 and misses his 4th. So Jared and Jacob save 3 and Corbin ends up walking off with a 5. So hole number 9, another short one, but this one is one that you've got to throw like a real high hyzer. Basket's real obstructed. You can't see it from the tee pad. So Jared and I both take our overstable mids. I didn't realize how good of a roll mine had gotten there. Kalen goes with a little bit more of a direct line, but also gets great ground play. None of these are really ace runs, but everything is getting up close to the basket. Kathan just gets his way turned over, ends up way over to the right side of the basket. Rhett goes real high hyzer, leaves it a little early, but he's safe. Jacob with his culprit just kind of hits down a little early into the bushes in front of it. Corbin, I think, was pretty agitated at this point, and so he ends up just pumping his putter way deep of the basket.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, you're barked. Curl up. Curl up. Stop.
me and Jared giving Rhett a hard time, making him think that his shot was rolling way far away there. But Rhett had a pretty good bid. It looked way closer whenever we were watching.
Nice shot.
Kathan with an easy par save there. I get my birdie. Jared gets his birdie.
Yeah, I got you. Corbin, you going?
We're trying to figure out who's going to go here.
We're right between the baskets.
As you can tell, that stuff is just
There you go. You make that.
nasty. It's thick. Kalen knocks down his birdie. I tapped in Kathan's par for him. Rhett makes his par. Corbin just can't catch a break. I think Jacob made his par there as well. So through 9 holes, Jared and myself are still tied at first at 1 under. Kathan's at even par. Kalen's at 2 over. Jacob's at 4 over. Rhett's at 6 over. And Corbin's at 12 over. So the back 9 is going to be following after this one. So y'all go and check that one out next. Thanks.